be pretty scary here. Yeah, I'm actually more excited about this carry centaur. It is so weird, but I was mulling it over. I was like, what can it do for them, right? But when you think about it, ET is traditionally a counter to these like agi carries, right, with incredibly high armor due to their high agility. But centaur is more of like a raw HP kind of hero, so he shouldn't be that affected by ET's aura, right?
That's true.
That's actually kind of cool. I wonder how that's gonna come out here. As far as Tinker is concerned, I do think they don't have a direct counter. However, Mars and Queen of Pain might be able to do enough. Maybe not later on in the game, but in the early mid-game, these two heroes can do enough. And I know Excalibur is a Tinker spammer himself, and he's also been playing a lot of Queen of Pain in pubs, so he should be confident in whatever itemization he's going for here to counter Tinker. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they approach taking this hero down. But I'm excited about this Centaur carry. It's so weird. It's nice to see different heroes come out, honestly.
I mean, what do you imagine we're going to see from Nefrit in terms of a build? Like when you're farming the safe lane, do you rush the blink, or do you still have to get like the Vanguard on the build-up? I mean, what are you doing as a safe lane Centaur, do you think?
I would like him to just build super tanky and definitely go for that blink at some point, but just build really tanky, be in their face, because in this lineup for Brame, Tinker is their position 1. He's the hero who's expected to carry. So if he could just soak up all of this attention and soak up all of these spells and just get all of that concentration away from the Tinker, that would be really cool. And Team Ball don't have any percentage-based damage for this carry Centaur, who we're going to assume is going to be very high in net worth.
That's very true. Yeah, Nefrit gets a few tanky items under his wings. It's going to be hard to take this Centaur down.
And if you think about like natural vessel buyers, like ET doesn't really want to do it. I suppose Willow can do it, but it does delay her Yules by a lot, which is something that she is going to want here. Especially versus Tinker.
And we'll see how the carries do in the lanes this time round. Last game, of course, Gorgc got quite a nice start in his safe lane. This time round, things might be a little trickier. It's not going to be too nice playing into 11's Viper in the laning stage, especially once there's a few levels on it. So Gorgc's going to have to be careful.
As far as lanes are concerned, I expect Brame to win both side lanes, honestly. This combination of Centaur and Enchantress should be incredibly potent. I don't know what Willow can do here. And Willow can out-trade Enchantress to an extent, but once she does get the help of the neutral creep, it's going to be harder. Mars can trade farm with the Centaur, but look how Centaur's just standing in front of the creep wave with no fear. He knows that he's nigh unkillable at this point in the game. And if you look at this top lane, this Viper is one of the biggest lane bullies in the world. He's just, every time Gorgc walks up for a creep, he's just going to get spit on, basically, by Viper.
Yeah, so far though in the first couple of waves, Gorgc, he's doing just fine on the CS, 6 for 6. We'll see indeed how that sort of changes up once there's at least like the 2 points in the poison attack. That's when the damage and harassment really starts to add up. 11's able to kick out.
They've already had to use one salve 2 chop, so probably gonna have to ferry out more as this Viper gets more levels in the game.
We'll see both mids able to get the refill, of course, on the water runes. We'll see an aggressive attempt there for Stamana, but Gorgc quickly puts a stop to the charge with the blast. See if they can keep the stacks building up onto Ixen, though, as he's trying his best to hide around the trees, but I don't think there's much running away from this, as Ixen will go down. First blood for 11.
Meanwhile, in bot lane, they do get the kill on Mars. Really well played by Spartan. He just used that Centaur creep to zone Mars out of safety and kind of cornered him in the trees there.
I mean, these kills, though, definitely looks to be, as you said, Brame having 2 solid side lane duos for this laning phase.
I do expect Excalibur to have a much higher impact this game in his Queen of Pain. Windranger isn't a hero that was set up for success in their last draft, whereas Queen of Pain can completely control the tempo in the way that they wanted to last game. So if Excalibur gets the start that we know that he can on this hero, I think he can open up the map a lot and probably push out this Tinker from his triangle at an earlier stage in the game.
I'll see Pablo. Of course, you know, level 2 doesn't have any points in the Shadow Realm, so won't easily be able to dodge away. Looks like they won't waste any further time chasing, though, so quick juke around the cliff. He's going to be able to make it out of there.
Dude, when you think of Spartan playing Dota, I just think of these really tanky heroes like Enchantress or even his 5 Willow that he played a lot last DPC. He just likes to be in really odd places early on. He likes putting himself in harm's way and just making sure he doesn't die. And you can see that he's kind of a little bit out of his element when he plays heroes like Disruptor. He doesn't shine the way that he does on Enchantress.
You talk about being in strange positions there. I don't think Excalibur was expecting that, him to just be sat behind the tier 1 tower and snipe his courier on the way out. So Spartan definitely being a nuisance here for Team Bold. Top lane, Gorgc. He's going to be in trouble. A stomp will come out. Does catch on to 11, but it's not going to be enough to stop Gorgc from going down. 11. He's going to try and get aggressive onto Ixen, see if they have enough damages to man. Taking a few tower hits. Ixen might have another urn charge thrown out at him, but 11 ends up ticking out actually to the damage of Gorgc, so Gorgc still gets the kill. Ixen will keep himself alive there with the Tango regen.
Dude, while that was happening, Samanin almost died to the skeletons. They are such a nuisance actually. Spiritbreaker and Viper both struggle on killing them, so they can be very annoying. If Samanin hadn't TP'd on a cliff there, he probably would have died to the skeletons too.
See, bottom lane, Nefrit is pretty low here. I'm going to get the Curse Crown set up. Radjix, he'll finish off the kill. A good strike back there on the bottom lane. Same time over on the mid, though. Excalibur will end up going down to Wish.
Yeah, with the aid of the Spirit Breaker, right, we can see this hero's potency and his ability to rotate around. Centaur stepped a little bit too much out of place and died, and I actually think that this could be the reason why they paired the Centaur with the Enchantress, is the Enchantress wants to play aggressive early on and has been in the triangle and has completely neglected Centaur in the spot lane. So they probably put this hero down here because they thought he could sustain himself enough without dying, right? So that could have been another idea that they had with picking the Centaur as a carry.
Obviously mid. I'm going to go in for the charge onto Excalibur. I should be able to be safe here. Yeah, they don't have anything else with the two of them. Wish wasn't quite in position to offer further burst. Excalibur will be fine. Pablo comes in for the refill. Keeps Excalibur strong for the lane. And does have that point saved as well. So Sonic Wave is available if Excalibur sees the situation.
So Nefrit went for Hood first, which is very standard for Centaur. It's going to be very valuable against Mars and Willow early on, and he's actually going for a Vanguard next without boots. So this is the build he's doing so far. He's going to be as tanky as he can be.
Oh, the good kill up top. 11. Getting a little over aggressive. Backup is coming in, and that was the easiest double kill Wish picked up. Just rolls into the lane, a couple of rockets and a couple of kills. Ixen and Gorgc taken down by a very, very impactful 6-minute movement there from the mid-tinker.
Yeah, Gorgc is really going to struggle at this point. With the ability of Tinker to rotate on top of the Spirit Breaker charge, on top of the slows from Viper, it's going to be impossible to sit on this lane now, so I think it's time for Gorgc to head into the jungle.
It's in the midst to man it. Going in for an aggressive charge, but TPs are coming. In fact, they've got the 4 members of Team Bold around the mid lane. Very much having to keep tabs on the aggression and charges that Mr. Manon's constantly looking for, especially when it's around that mid area. Wish will have the damage. See Ixen going for the D-ward job. This might cost him his life. Wish and 11 coming across. Same time though, down bottom, they do manage to take down Nefrit again. And looks like Ixen will be able to walk this one off. Into the trees he goes. They don't have a read on his movement.
Yeah, nice rotation by Excalibur to kill Nefrit in the bot lane. They managed to do it just with the Arena and the Queen of Pain spells. She actually did not level Sonic Wave at all. He's choosing to play on his spells instead, which is pretty interesting. I guess you don't really need it at this point in the game, right? Like, these heroes are burstable, you just need to catch them.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And Wish is very close to his Blink Dagger. He's about 400 gold away. Once he does get it, we can see Brame try to maybe get a few towers or pick up their pace.
Radiant's middle tower.
Seems like Nefrit's playing more of a sacrificial role in his carry Centaur, even though he has not fallen behind in net worth at all. He's just sitting alone and kind of tanking the ganks and tanking all the attention from the enemies, right? Willow and Mars committed to killing him once, then Queen of Pain and Mars committed to killing him. If he can just play that role for the entire game without falling behind in net worth, this is exactly what Brame wants, actually. They want all the attention away from the Tinker, and they want the Centaur to just make space by simply existing, right?
And once he starts to get these tanky items out, Hood done, going for the Vanguard next, it's he's going to be able to take far much more of a beating here from Team Bold's heroes whilst he does make that space.
He's going to walk into Gorgc in the jungle top. And skeletons are so annoying if you're a Spirit Breaker. You kind of just stand there and your attack speed is so slow and they just punch at you.
Not a whole lot at all you can do about it. See mid Radix, he wants to go for the arena setup. And he will have it in onto Wish. Pinned against the arena wall, Wish not standing a chance. See TP's coming in, they're going to look for Radix. Radix tries for a TP out himself, won't make it. Charging from Stamanen. They'll get the trade.
They do get this kill on Tinker and they slow down that blink timing. He almost had it, but now he's just 100 gold away again. But they don't really get the mid tower out of this on the side of Blood, so it really wasn't bad for Brame at all, I would say. And now there's no arena to worry about for the next, what, 60 seconds of the game? And you've got Spartan doing a lot of damage on this mid tower. It really doesn't seem like that was, it started off so well, right? But it didn't turn into anything for Team Bold.
Well, the gold lead starting to now edge in favour of Brame. We'll see their own tier 1 tower. It's going to be a lot harder for Team Bold to really push in onto.
So Gorgc has actually chosen to pick up an armlet on his Wraith King, which I do like because they do have to play active in this lineup because as the panel is saying, they don't have the best answer to Tinker. So for them to beat this Tinker lineup, they just have to play as aggressively as possible and make sure that he doesn't get the gold and get the experience and get the levels and just pick up the pace and just do as much as they can on the map. So wise choice by Gorgc to go for armlet. Armlet does so blink, just feels like enough really to play with.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to struggle, obviously, even with that sort of damage output to deal much about the Centaur, but yeah, other heroes, Tinker in particular, Team Bold can get the catch on Wish in the fights. It's going to be pretty much their main goal. Top lane, Gorgc. He's going to get got upon here, he needs backup. He's going to go down the once, backup will now turn up. See if they can turn anything around here as they look towards Stamanen. Wish in the trees though. They've got to be careful as these rockets start to get laid out upon them. Lead in with the ultimate, they get the knockback onto Excalibur. That's the Quap God. Now with the charge in, Shaman's ready to set up for more. Straight over towards Ixon. 2 dead on Team Bold. Spartan's coming in with a heal. Stamanen steps out to the side. He's able to get himself out of the arena. Spartan will be left behind. So they'll take the trade there. Lose the Enchantress, but the life of the Spirit Breaker is saved.
That's just so typical Spartan, right? Brame wins the fight and it looks good. And then he just wants more. It's not enough, guys. I am chasing behind this tower with my creeps. And I'm going to get what I can.
These moves, though, they are hurting Team Bold.
Yeah, Gorgc has to be very careful now. He doesn't have reincarnation for another 140 seconds, and they can easily go for a play with the Spirit Breaker and Viper. Excalibur blinking in and dying too is really unfortunate. That's not something you want. Similar to Wind Ranger and the Nature's Prophet from last game, you don't want to be rotating in and dying on these farm-dependent heroes. These snowball-type mids really do need to stay alive for as long as possible, right?
This top tower will be an easy takings here for 11. As he will have the rod out for the next move, so Excalibur is going to have to be very cautious with the blinking. Just a little bit of a way off his own Orchid. Again, a little bit of a slower start for him this game. With that Brame setting up with Spartan and 11, making the move towards the bottom. Team Bold are pretty well set up here. See if they can take this fight as Wish will start to get the rockets going.
Nice tries.
And look at the setup on a Wish. Yeah, that'll do it. That's the Tinker gone. We'll see if Brame still want to fight without the Tinker. Looks like they certainly do. Going straight in. The arena will come out. But it looks like Excalibur will be left trapped here underneath the threat of the Centaur Warrunner. And now the rest of Team Bold desperately trying to save one another. Backing off. Radix and Agson will get underneath the tower. They'll keep themselves alive. But Pablo on the other side of things should go down here. They get the iron charge in. Pablo trying to run, but the poison from 11 will connect. As Brame will be able to strike back after losing Wish.
So that was a 2-for-1 trade. They traded a mid and a support on the side of Bald for just Wish on Brame. But while that entire fight was happening, they brought their Centaur down, who is their position 1 at the moment. And Gorgc was just pushing mid and farming the entire time. So that actually wasn't too bad for Team Bald.
Yeah, Gorgc doing his best to keep his game on par with the cause of Brame, and not too far behind. It's about 600 behind that of Nefrit.
I'm actually really curious, now that Brame have gotten this top tower, who they're going to assign that farm priority to. This Viper is insanely strong.
Yeah, Levin's just picking up kills as he wishes here. Stepping around the map with this ATOS, soon to be hitting level 12 as well.
This ATOS build fell out of favor on offlane Vipers for more of a Dragonlance Shard type of build, but I really do like it. It gives you kill threat all over the map, right? You do lose some in way of mobility and tower damage, but that's not your job at the moment. You can just worry about that later.
I'll see them go for Spartan. Stamana's there with the backup, and Gorgc, he's got to be a little careful. The rocket's starting to come out. Ult from Stamana knocks Gorgc back. Nefrit's trying to get in range. He'll be able to do so with the double edge and the laser. They're bringing down the once. Backup comes in Radix. Spears over the Spirit Breaker into the splitter. That'll be a buyback straight away from Stamana. Gorgc trying to focus down Nefrit. The Sonic Wave comes out as well, but it's not enough burst. Nefrit's going to be fine. Viper Strike in onto Gorgc. Stamana is not going to be able to charge in and get any of this action, even with that buyback. But Team Bold, they back off. Does mean that no one else on Brame goes down. We see their Nefrit's tankiness coming into action. They weren't quite able to deal with the Centaur that was right on the front lines.
Those Nature's attendants healed Centaur so much. Honestly, it's quite nice to see the Centaur be able to frontline with no concerns, really. It doesn't seem like Wraith King is strong enough to really do much here. And if he dies once, like he did in that fight, he's kind of out of commission for the next 180 seconds of the game, because it's so easy, it's such a simple matter to just get charged by a Spirit Breaker into a Tinker TP.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, Gorgc's got to be very cautious with this timing. It's going to mean objectives will be left unguarded here for Brame to take. This bottom tier 1 tower, short to fall.
I guess that answers my question about who they're giving this top lane to. I assume it's just going to be a Tinker farming in this open side of the map now, because Centaur isn't typically a carry who wants to sit and AFK farm somewhere safe.
I'll see Nefrit, I mean, stepping up very boldly here into the triangle. 3 heroes around. Nefrit doesn't care.
Who's going to stop them? They don't have their cooldowns up. They don't have percentage-based damage. Arena did just come up, though.
Oh, see the Arena attempt onto 11. That'll be a catch that Radix should be able to finish off the job on. And again, top lane Gorgc. Still 90 seconds. No reincarnation. He's in a lot of trouble. Wish and Stamanen, they will do this. It's a spooky game when he's not got the ult.
And that's what we just talked about, right? Once your reincarnation is down, if you show on a lane, you're going to instantly be punished, especially if your team decides to make for a play on the opposite side of the map. But yeah, well played by Brame on finding that pick. It's going to slow down the Wraith King by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a scary game with the Spirit Breaker Tinker threat.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And it's only going to get worse with Wish catching up in farm.
So now the issue with this armlet is that his team don't have the tempo at the moment, and he doesn't have a farming tool. When you go for this armlet Deso build, you're expecting to fight a lot. But if you do fall behind and start to die, there's no means for you to come back into the game just simply by farming.
Gorgc, he's underneath the damage of 11. He's trying to run, but Gorgc, he's going to go down surely. The ult, it's not quite back there. He's still trying to step out. Looks like he will be able to live, as Brame have turned their attention back over towards the rest of Team Bold. Radix focused down by 11. Now they'll go over towards Ixen, take down a second. They did lose Wish for this, but it's certainly paying off here with 2 dead on Team Bold. Brame taking the fight yet again. I mean, Team Bold very fortunate to get Gorgc out of there. He looked dead for sure, but able to just keep himself out of reach of the follow-up poison attacks from Ixen, from 11, sorry. It will save him, so he can get back to farming, and he's getting close to passing that window where he doesn't have the reincarnation. Yeah, his ult is back up now. They should be feeling a little safer farming out on the map against the Spirit Breaker Tinker.
So we talked about Centaur being a meat shield kind of for this Tinker, putting himself in harm's way so that Tinker can kind of just unleash himself in these fights. But with this Blink Dagger on Mars and just with the added Blink plus Orchid on Quap, they can actually sidestep the Centaur and go on Tinker whenever they choose to. So Tinker does have to position himself more carefully. Just picks over picks here on the side of Brame.
Yeah, they just can punish anybody out of position so easily. Bottom lane. See the attempt onto Radix. He's going to drop down the arena. And that will hold back Brame. It's Radix. Will be left alone for now. Very close to having the Yules as well, so we'll have other options to try and stop the charging from Stamanen.
They did get Arena there, which is really nice because that's Team Bald's biggest pick-off tool right now. It's how they've been going on Tinker in these fights. So without this Arena, it's just a lot safer for them on Brame.
I'll see Spartan. He's going to get gone on. He is tanky, but not tanky enough this time around. Gorgc able to come in with the big old crit. But he's having a great time, Spartan, as you can see. He's,
every time Spartan dies, it just shows him smiling and laughing. At least he's having fun while playing.
He always is.
Awesome.
You can always guarantee. It doesn't matter how many times the man gets taken down in the game. He's still enjoying it every moment.
Dude, I wish I had that kind of passion and enthusiasm for Dota. Every time I die, I just want to bash my head on my keyboard.
I'm talking about keyboards. Gorgc. He's catching up to Nefrit. Second highest in the farm and going for that BKB after Dessa. With the arm of BKB Dessa, he will have that ability to charge in, lock down a target. Doesn't have to worry about that pesky slow from the attack speed slow from the Enchantress anymore. Spartan's definitely going to have a tougher time. So they are building towards this point where Gorg's going to be very strong in the team fights.
Yeah, if they can hit this timing on Team Bald with Gorg's items, they can take back a lot of this map before Tinker gets strong enough, because he's still not quite there yet.
See bottom. 11 will get the catch onto Excalibur, but the burst damage from the 3 of Team Bold is too much for this Viper. Excalibur gets the kill, and Radix, he's looking for the further setup. He's got the catch onto Stamanen, and Arena's there. No escape for the Spirit Breakers. Team Bold, they pick up 2 quick kills and start to invade the jungle of Brame.
This makes absolutely no sense.
Oh no. So Wish is 200 gold away from his Shiva's Guard. It's a pretty big item for him. It should spike up his potency in these fights by a lot. Also make it so that he's tankier later on. Those are really great kills by Team Bald. It feels like they're finally picking up the pace for themselves.
This is big.
And now this bottom side, they've taken it over. Finally, this jungle is theirs, and they can play with his Wraith King item timings.
I'll see how many sort of objectives they can try and force with this. Because Roshan still stands strong for somebody to take this game. Tier 1 tower in the mid looks to be dying to the creeps. And the fortification. Radix is ready, waiting around. 30 seconds, of course, until Arena's back up. And see a lot longer until Sonic Wave's in play.
Oh, Nefrit almost has his heart. He just finished it.
I mean, he is going to be so beefy. It'll be interesting to see how they sort of decide to take the fights around him. Is it just going to be a case of popping the BKB on Gorgc and looking around him? You just try and ignore the center completely?
They've got to like sidestep him. They have to maneuver their way around him because they really don't have the damage to take him down. They've got no vessel. They've got no percentage-based damage.
We'll see bottom Excalibur. He has been found there. Stamanen with the setup. 11 has the follow-up.
That's a very huge kill because Excalibur was the one leading these aggressive plays by Bald. He was leading these smokes and just blinking in bravely with his Orchid, right? So with Excalibur down, that puts a halt to that aggressive tempo we were talking about. They were picking up on Team Bald.
And we'll see now, yeah, it's a Nefrit with his heart. 3.6k HP. A very, very tanky boy.
That's a big boy.
And he's ready to look at going for Roshan. He's ready to tank that, no problem at all. Brame, they will have the damage, and this is not going to be something that Team Bold can have anything to say about. Still 10 seconds without Excalibur. No, the full lineup up, so no interest of making movements across the map. Great ward setup as well from Brame. They've got all the information they need, so this Roche will be theirs. Aegis into the hands of Wish.
This Centaur carry, it's very interesting because I think paired up with a Tinker, it really can do a lot for the team, right? Just in terms of being the one that pulls attention to himself.
Absolutely.
And you can always guarantee that the Aegis for Brame is going to go to the Tinker because he's pretty much unkillable at this point, unless they kill everybody else and just press all their spells on him with like the Bedlam and the Split Earth and the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If they, in the situation that he does die, chances are there's already going to be a few deaths on the lineup of Team Bold in a 5v5. It will take them time, and setting up the game nicely for Wish to be able to pop off. Still unable to break further ahead, though. They still hold a 4K advantage here, Brame. But Gorgc, as we're seeing, close behind, and of course being a more sort of traditional carry as the Wraith King, offers much more physical burst in comparison to something like a Centaur. Brame's fight, it's more about being able to draw it out and let Wish do his thing. If Team Bold can get anybody on top of Wish's Tinker, some of Brame's game plan will fall apart and Gorgc will have the chance to carry.
So Brame don't have that much tower damage going on for them at the moment. I think Viper does need to build into that shard eventually and just be that one, because this is a very good timing for Brame to attempt to take towers, right? It's just that Centaur hits the building so slowly. Sure, he can stand there, but he's not going to take them, right? And while they're spending a lot of time trying to take these towers, Gorgc's going to be farming up. And as far as scaling is concerned, I do think Team Bold outscale Brame's lineup here, because Enchantress is going to fall off. Spirit Breaker is not going to find farm on the map with a Tinker on his team. And Enchantress gets two-shotted, Viper falls off. It's pretty much just going to be Tinker and Centaur later on, whereas Queen of Pain is going to scale well, Wraith King is going to scale well, Mars is going to scale well, Willow scales impressively well sometimes.
No, for sure. I mean, it's always that case, right? Especially when they build around the Tinker as much as they have, having a bit of a different carry. Now, if this Tinker dies and doesn't have buyback, then the fight's going to be lost and buildings are going to go down as well. Mid, they're going to look for the setup onto Nefrit, and well, there we go. A very nice quick jump there from Radjix. I mean, you could tell with Nefrit's positioning, he didn't think that they would dare make that sort of play onto him. He was like, I got a heart, I got all this magic resistance. Vanguard, it didn't matter. Team Bold, they believed they could blow him up, and they could. Brame, Nefrit were not ready for that at all.
Very well played. And all they extended there was what?
An Excalibur. He's going to stop the TP. They do the root. Pablo gets the catch there to follow up Excalibur's silence. That's Wish down the once. The Aegis is gone. Radjix is ready to line himself up in position. Perfect timing with the spear. Huge moves here from Team Bold as they get themselves back in action.
Incredibly well played by Team Bold. They got the two most important targets right after each other like that. And suddenly that threat of the Aegis is no more. And like we were talking about earlier, they are not concerned with their scaling. As their heroes scale, this Centaur, who seems like strong and invincible, is going to melt later on in the game.
I mean, 11. And he's coming out. I mean, he'll get the kill, but he may pay with his life. Pablo's got the roots out. Pablo.
Oh, Pablo, well played. That Bramble on Tinker was so clutch.
The tip as well.
That Bramble on Tinker was so clutch, and then just getting that return kill on Viper.
Yeah, I mean, Master Tier Dark Willow, and it's showing here. Pablo having a great couple of moves coming out there as that lead that Brame had is starting to get shut down.
Brame have to start making moves of their own, or the game's going to slip away from them to Team Bold, because like Gorgc's starting to lead the net worth or just go neck and neck with this Centaur already, but this net worth on Gorgc is much more valuable than it is on Centaur.
Absolutely.
Right? This hero is going to actually scale later on into the game.
Now he's got the blink ready to pick up. Level 18 is going to be there. That 3 points to the reincarnate, going to give him more chance to get aggressive. And actually, some very tasty tier 3 items. We'll see which one he goes for there. He's going to go for the damage here. That Mind Breaker, of course, will assist him greatly if he's able to get the blink, stun, silence off onto Wish's Tinker. And we'll see mid. Brame, I'm going to get aggressive. The arena comes out, but 11 has the BKB. Gorgc also using his own BKB to try and commit, but they are able to step away. So that will be the maybe a bit of a premature attempt there with the BKB from Gorgc. See bottom lane, Stamana, nice little charge onto the creep wave to start off the action. Excalibur is out with the blink and the TP. Won't be able to find him in time, so Excalibur makes it out of there. Mid lane though, Gorgc is actually going to look to try and get back in. He's going to get in with the jump, Great Fire Blast to start things off onto Nefrit. Nefrit's dying underneath the tower. He's going to try and step away. The Curse Crown will hit. They need a little bit more damage. Sonic Wave, not quite enough, but the Earth Splitter is. Nefrit goes down. Team Bold, again, they seize the opportunity to take down the Centaur. Tower still goes down in the mid lane. But again, Team Bold, they do continue to prove that this Centaur might not be as unkillable as Nefrit feels that he is.
If they press everything on that hero, he's going to die. And Wraith King later on in the game is going to start killing him by himself too. A bit of a misplay, I would say, by Nefret to just die in the same place twice in a row. Maybe a little bit of underestimation going on in terms of damage output. I also wanted to quickly shout out Excalibur's Lincoln Sphere. It was the reason why he was able to get out of the bot lane. Spirit Breaker did have his ult available, but he just couldn't press it on Excalibur. And it's going to make it so that Excalibur can actually play the side lanes now. He shouldn't be concerned about this Tinker plus Spirit Breaker kill combo anymore.
Excalibur having a much better game than he did in the first one of this series. Was struggling continuously on the Wind Ranger, but this game keeping himself right on par with the farm of Vicious Tinker. In what is panning out to be quite a close game here between the two sides. And sort of the potential of the outcome as the minutes pass switched a little round, as you would expect from the drafts, in comparison to what we had in game one, where it really does seem that Gorgc is on the carry that can definitely scale the better here. So if they can continue to hold on Team Bold, make sure that the high ground pushes aren't going to be in place, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. And as you mentioned earlier, it's not really that easy for Brame to siege the base of Team Bold unless they get a lot of kills outside of the base on the map.
Yeah, or unless Viper builds to be the siege machine of Brame, but that's not the build he's chosen to go for. He's going for an Ags now, which is going to be very nice in these long drawn-out team fights. And he's got his BKB available, so does Wish on his Tinker, so does Centaur now, actually. So Centaur, next time he goes for an insane aggressive positioning, he's going to have something to bail him out.
Now he shouldn't die. BKB should be enough to offset that significant amount of damage that was killing him. Mid lane Radjix, he's going to find himself a Spirit Breaker charging through. You actually catch Spartan as well with the root. They're going to go for this as well. Looking to chase down the Enchantress. Buyback immediately comes out from Staman, and the Curse Crown holds back the two of them. Rockets start to fly, and Pablo, he's trying to get himself away, but he's got no Shadow Realm up to avoid the follow-up rocket, so he will fall. Staman, how aggressive does he want to go? He's in onto Radjix. He's got the ult at the ready, but the Lincoln Sphere, offered up by Excalibur, keeps Radjix from being knocked back, allows him to step back up to the high ground. So 1-for-1, but Brame, of course, the team also using a buyback there. Of course, all whilst that was happening, Gorgc doing his best to keep the farm going. AC is getting closer and closer. And should be in time to offset what I imagine who was building the AC on the side of Brame. It was indeed Nefret, also trying to get an AC online for the squad.
And Nefret is getting very strong. My concern for him is still just going to be, can they kite this BKB and just go all in on him later? And the answer should probably be yes. They do have high mobility on the side of Team Bald. Roshan is spawning in another minute, so that should be the next big objective both teams look to play for. Brame are in a better position to contest it, though. It seems like the map is more opened up for them.
Definitely, you can see with the way that they're moving, Brame just stepping up to the high ground, and Team Bold, not much more they can do other than back away. They do have some vision down around here.
That's a nice sneaky ward by Team Bold, actually. The one on the cliff, that one barely ever gets dewarded.
It's giving them good information of who passes in and out of this area. See what they want to do with it. They are starting to move over. They're not smoked up. Gorgc, he's going to lead in. Goes for Spartan straight away. Have they got the burst? They do. The Enchantress goes down, out for 50. And Roshan to be back up in 25.
And Enchantress feels so bad in these kinds of games, right? Because she does have her impact early in the game. We saw Spartan farmed in the triangle. He sniped couriers. He won the first few levels of the lane for his team. He was a nuisance mid. He did a lot in terms of the vision game by walking around aggressively early on, but he's at the point where Pablo alone, if he walks into them, a bedlam is enough to kill him, right? And any of these heroes are just going to kill him. So it feels like outside of the vision potential and maybe the healing from the Nature's Attendants, he doesn't really do that much, right? And that sucks about Enchantress, honestly. This hero felt like it was in a much, much better place around last year's DPC.
See Pablo. He's out, he's away. Nothing they can do about that Shadow Realm. Still looking to maybe find something off the back of this smoke. Look, Nefrit, get the spear set up. They want to try and commit fully onto him. See if they can do it this time. They can't. Gorg's going to get charged, taken down once. See the second life hit from Gorg come into position, but he immediately gets hoof stomped. He needs backup and he needs it now. Is he going to get it? He pops the BKB, tries to turn, but Gorg will fall. Excalibur as well, also going down there. The two biggest losses there for Team Bold. Both cores out of action. Roshan up. Brame, they'll be able to step in and take this. That was a very painful couple of deaths there for Team Bold.
And we really saw the effectiveness of Nefrit's BKB pickup there. It just turned the fight completely for them and gave them the key kill that they needed to get this rush. And I think this rush is dropping shard as well. If they give that the Viper, they've solved a big problem that they have right now with that rush shard for Viper. They're actually going to be able to pressure these towers now.
Yeah, this is pretty huge. It was that sort of one piece that they were lacking.
And they've given the Aegis to Centaur too.
I mean, yeah, we saw there in that time round with Nefrit with his BKB. They did struggle to really even bring him down to half HP they want. So, bottom lane, Radix, wish he was onto him, but Radix TP's out in time. Top lane's getting siege though, and still 10 seconds or so. No Wraith King or Quap for the defense. And that poison attack, they'll be able to make good work here of the melee racks. I'll see what Team Bold can do now with the full roster back alive. They're looking for the setup. Radix, he has got the arena down at the two of them. Gorg jumps in, dispatches a Spartan. Now turns over towards Nefrit. Gorg's going to be a bit cautious. He gets caught by the root. Has to put the BKB. Looking for a target now. He's going to stay on top of the Centaur. But the Stampede is up. Wish to the side with the BKB. He's able to blink away. They'll get the spear into the Ray Fire Blast onto Nefrit. But he's still too tanky. Gorg can't commit on him with the BKB coming to an end. Gorg has to back off.
They're tickling him right now. Jeez.
Really?
He's still alive. He's just fine. And they used everything.
Yep, he's still got the Aegis. He's still got the BKB ready to use. He's got himself back in this stage where he really does seem to be unkillable, Nefrit.
Just got that nice regen from the heart. Very easy reset for him.
Now they can look to swing round towards the bottom. Creeps are pushing in.
Oh, are they going to find Gorgc here?
See Gorg has reincarnation back up, and as soon as Nefrit shows his face, he'll be stepping away from this tower. They're going to have to take the defense from the high ground now, Team Bold. Those last couple of moves, I mean, there's two big deaths before losing the Roshan, setting them right back behind. As Brame up 12k, taking that top melee Rex as well. Nefrit just waltzing up to the high ground. Does not really have a care in the world right now, Nefrit. Goes out to the mid. Gorg, he stepped out of this. He's going to go for the BKB TP. Stamana, can he find him with the ult? He can't.
Oh, this is so scary. Without this BKB on Wraith King, not sure how they're going to take this fight to defend this bottom side.
Yeah, Brame could definitely force up to the high ground pretty hard now. With them knowing that Gorg doesn't have his full potential to turn up to the action. We see Excalibur trying to jump in and start things up, but Wish is able to get the BKB off in time. Blink to the side, Wish is fine. The arena's down, but the BKB's out from 11. Stamana will fall. See Pablo trying to find Wish, but Wish is already out the TP. Gorg charging in. BKB's still on cooldown for 40 seconds. He does have to reincarnate though. They burst through him the once. He needs backup, but he doesn't look like he's going to get it. He's able to get the blink off in time.
Beautiful, beautiful by Ixon.
A big escape there from Gorg. He gets caught there a second time and it could be game over. But he does, and he gets out. He's short of money on the buyback, so has to be cautious. 800 gold out of it right now. Nefrit back to pushing. The bottom racks are going down. Team Bold, what can they do? We'll see Excalibur jump in, look for Spartan, but Spartan forces out to the side. Nefrit's still sticking around for the barracks. See them set up with the Viper Strike onto Excalibur. Stun. In onto the Elder Titan. Elder Titan goes down. Buybacks available from Ixon. Sonic Wave to the side. Burst through 11. They've brought down the Viper. They've got the Yule set up onto Wish. They're seeing if they can catch this Tinker. Pablo's in on top of him as well. Gorg in with the BKB, but the Bloodstone, it's healing up Wish. Gorg, can he finish off this Tinker? He can. Double kill for Gorg. What more can they find here, Team Bold? They're stepping over towards Nefrit. See Spartan hiding in the trees. Nefrit still very beefy, still a full minute left on the Aegis. We're going to see the death of Ixon. Gorg, he hasn't got the damage to deal with Nefrit right now. As they lose the first life of the Wraith King, he's ready for round two. Spear over to the side will trap Spartan. Great angle from Radix. As they take out Enchantress, Nefrit should fall the once. Finally, slowly. But can they do it a second time? He's ready for round 2. The question is our team bot. Let's see what they can do here. Has got Stampede available.
He's got backup coming.
Yeah, they're poking very carefully because here's the man and charging forward straight over towards Excalibur. The root catches onto Nefrit. They're still so careful how they approach him. Gorgc will tickle him with a Ray Fire Blast, but they're trying to ignore him and turn towards the Spirit Breaker instead. Radjix, you'll set up Arena's back up. Spear down on Stamanen. The Spirit Breaker will fall. Nefrit, he'll look to hide in the trees and TP out. He'll back away.
That's so funny. That is the most action-packed few minutes that I've seen in a while, and all the while, Centaur is still alive. But that was the exact way that they need to take these fights on Team Vault. They have to ignore Centaur and just kill everybody else. And because Centaur had that Aegis, unfortunately, ignoring Centaur and going for the rest of his team did mean that they lost their bottom racks.
Oh, and you love to see it, Gorgc. He tried to queue it up last game, couldn't quite get there. This time round, I think there's definitely a much higher chance that he will. Rapier on the menu here for Gorgc, close to the level 25 as well. They're still down 11k, and they did have to use 2 buybacks there to push them back on the bottom lane. Still, of course, lost the barracks on the bottom, just that mid-set left standing for them. But they are holding on, and the Rapier Wraith King might just be enough to deal with these heroes, such as the Nefrit Centaur.
What we saw last fight, actually, Spartan did a lot of damage to Gorgc. If Spartan's left alive, Gorgc has no evasion, right? So they can... They do have solutions for the Wraith King.
They do lose the courier. That's quite a snipe there. Will take the Bloodthorn away from Excalibur's hands.
Team Vault have to make sure that the next fight they take is not in their base, or that's just mega creeps. They have to make a smoke. They have to leave the base and just take the fight.
There we go. They're listening to you, Effie. They're making the call. They're making the moves. They're in onto Spartan. Dragged back by the splitter. He should go down here, or maybe not. He's out to the side. Spartan, he's actually away. Excalibur jumps up to look to finish him off. They'll turn towards Nefrit. BKB from Gorgc. He looks to commit, but Nefrit with the BKB Stampede, he's able to get away. Excalibur still trying to kill Spartan, but he hasn't quite been able to do so yet. Another dagger out. Spartan finally dies. The rest of Brame, what's their move now? They're backing off. As Team Bold, they get a kill, and they force Brame to back away.
Spartan was so tanky there. He was so tanky there. They all into him, kind of, and if they had managed to kill him a few seconds earlier, they might have been able to take down Nefrit too. But that Holy Locket really came into play there with the Nature's Attendance.
Seeing some big deaths here. That's Pablo out, Ixon as well. Neither with buyback. Can Team Bolt do anything about this Gorgc? Excalibur, they're charging back in. They're looking for Wish. They get the spear back, but the 3-man who stopped the charger as well. Across the 3 of them, takes Radjix out of the game. Gorgc, he's going to be back up for a second life, but the BKB's on cooldown. He can't do anything alone against these 4 as Gorgc will fall. He has got buyback, but it would only be down to him and Excalibur to try and hold. We'll see if they give it an attempt. As Brame, they've got the 4 of them alive. They're heading straight over towards the tier 4s, looking to close up the game and the series. Gorgc's in with the buyback. They have the fortification. 10 seconds until Ixon's back in. But can the 3 of them keep this game going?
Honestly, Owen, I take it back. Centaur scales just fine.
I mean, yeah, Gorgc just disappears in a matter of seconds there as Nefrit gets in on top of him, charging towards the base as well. Ixon trying to keep their attention off the Ancient, but it's not going to work. GG is called. As Brame, they'll take the game, the series, it's all